that sounds good. Well, that's
Great.
good.
Hi, Ann.
There's Barbara, sort of.
I'm here, but I'll be on
Yeah,
mute until you need me for executive
Cool.
or for a car.
Okay. Well, you're part of the group anyway. You can hang. Who are we waiting on? We are waiting. Oh, poor Jennifer may or may not make it. Bless her heart. She was driving to DC to see her son, and she started feeling poorly. And she got tested. She's positive for COVID.
Oh,
No.
Yes. So they
Oh.
had to stop, and she called her doctor, and they gave her some more medicine. They turned around and drive right back. So she's going to try and join us via Zoom, via her her phone on the road. But I said, you need to get well. You guys are dropping like flies on me between Sharon
Is
and
it the new virus? You think it's the new one that's passing around now?
I don't know. You know, it's
Old or new?
it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean,
No.
I tested positive for it in January. I didn't have any symptoms, so I was like, oh well, okay. And then 3 days later, I was negative. So it's all bark and no bites, but it
Right.
does get a little scary sometimes. So all right, so we are waiting on Sharon and Anne and Jennifer, hopefully, but we're still a little early. I think. Oh, Kitty also. Or she?
Am I supposed to be here or not?
Well, it doesn't really matter, Janet. We'd love for you to stay.
All right. Well,
Nothing too critical is or sensitive is going to be discussed. It's
all
pretty
right.
much.
We're
Well,
talking about you.
Yeah, now we can't.
all right. Well, I was just looking. I have a parade ticket that I paid for.
Yeah, but the Eventbrite allowed you to pay for it. The actual tickets need to be purchased through the parade and will be distributed. So what your Eventbrite is guaranteed is shows that you paid for it,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
not from the parade. There are two tickets. There's the one that you got from Eventbrite, your receipt, and then the Rita and her gals are going to buy the actual tickets to the parade to hand out. Does that make sense?
No.
You'll
no.
have to actually. Yeah.
Well, I have a ticket number and it says pick up at the Menger Hotel.
yeah,
So,
that's what mine says too.
that-
I don't know what that is.
I think
I
that's
don't
what
either.
parade seating is.
It is.
Yes, that's where the parade seating is.
Leave it like that, I guess. Yeah.
All right, everything you have that you got from Eventbrite, we are going to hand you a ticket on Thursday morning. That is your actual, show it to the seat manager at the parade.
All right. Well,
You're-
I'll
you're-
bring what I have.
Your Eventbrite is just your receipt.
We're talking about- Send it
Okay.
to
If that makes sense. And I saw Jennifer.
Hi,
Jennifer.
I'm driving. I'm here. Steve's working and I have a signal. Yay. So I'm in the car and Steve's working, but I'm driving.
Well, hi, Steve. How are you? It's good to have a
All right.
dude over here.
We're in Arkansas.
How are you feeling, dear?
You know, I feel great. I do not feel that badly. I mean, I just feel like I have a little bit of congestion,
Yeah,
but other than that, I'm feeling fine.
good.
So thankfully, it's not a bad case.
Yeah. Now it's get yourself retested in the after the weekend and see
Okay.
if it comes back
Okay.
negative. That's what I did, and it was fine. So,
Okay, good. Well,
Oh, I see you.
hi.
There's
Hi,
Kitty.
Hi.
I'm having to watch the road too, so I'm like focus that too. But I
Focus on
wanted
the
to
road.
log in. Yeah, we have a good signal, and I'll test myself again and make sure I'm negative before I come. It should be done with the isolation period, but I'm gonna double check everything before I come to San Antonio.
Good. Hey, did Steve test now positive or negative?
Oh, he's negative.
There you go.
He didn't have it yet.
There's Anne.
Well,
Hi, Ann.
Welcome, welcome.
Well, I'm a
Yeah.
lawyer, so we're just kind of negative people. So
he's so funny. Oh gosh.
Winning.
Well, we're waiting on Sharon, so how have you been, Ann? We haven't seen you in a while.
I know. Good morning.
No, I wish you were coming to San Antonio.
Oh, look, I wish too, but it just was not to be. So,
Well, we'll
Yeah.
have to just make it festive for August in Chicago.
yeah, definitely will. In fact, actually, United have just put in, they had a nonstop for about a few months and then they stopped it.
Oh,
Now
Oh.
they've started it again. So
Oh,
that's
good.
really
Oh,
good.
good.
Yeah, from here. So it's anyway. But,
all right.
Evelyn, Evelyn, I wanted to tell you we were headed to DC and I was going to call you and try and come see you, but that all went by the wayside when I got sick.
Yes, I was wondering. Good. Well, take
Next
care
time.
now and we'll see if what works.
We'll go back and see my son next time and I'll call you.
Good. That would be wonderful.
All righty. Well, I don't know if Sharon's going to make it or not. I hope she does, but we can go ahead and get started, I think. What do y'all think? Shall we give her another minute or two?
Is she the only one or is there someone else?
Lisa Sharp is not here, but I haven't heard, that doesn't really surprise me, but let's see here. Jennifer, Lisa, Evelyn, Sharon, Rita, Barbara, Janet, and Kitty. Yeah, everybody but Lisa and Sharon. So if they
Well,
join
it's
in.
sort of confusing as to what time this started, so I was
I
confused.
know.
But that's okay. I'm
we've
here.
got so
You're
many-
here. We're
So
all
many
here.
different time zones and two different meetings.
I just keep to Central because that's what you're at. So, you
Right.
know, as
Fair
far as-
enough, fair enough. Well, that's great. Well, let's go ahead and get started. First thing I guess we do, it is now 10:30 or 10:29 on April Fool's Day, 2022.
That's right.
And this is not a joke. I guess let's go ahead and approve the minutes from our special executive board meeting from November 1st. If you all have had a chance to look those over. That was the one where we talked about what we were going to present to Nancy Carr as far as the what she was going to spend her money on. And they look fine to me. Does anybody have any changes or additions or corrections?
No, they look good to me.
Somebody want to move to approve them?
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Approve.
Aye.
Say aye. Jennifer, say, oh, Jennifer's muted. Are you, okay.
Don't raise your hand.
All right. The minutes are approved.
Who was the second on that? Because I didn't quite.
Barbara.
Let's
Barbara.
Barbara.
Okay.
All right, the next thing we have on our agenda, and this is going to be short and sweet, so this is easy. And I wish Lisa was here.
What-
She has, bless her heart, you know, she's been,
Excuse me.
yes,
I don't think we approved, did we approve the minutes at the, we didn't approve the executive minutes from last August, and we need to do that.
okay, well, I didn't attach them.
We did not approach them at the special meeting in November. We didn't do anything, so we need to approve those. So,
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Let me see if I can find them. Hang on a second.
I make a motion, we approve them.
Okay,
okay,
anybody second?
second,
Someone?
I'll second.
okay.
All in favor of approving the minutes from the, which one was it, Ann? August?
It's the date, it's Thursday, July 29th, 2021.
Okay, all in favor of approving those, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so approved.
Okay.
And I'll send those out and we can take a look at them, just make sure that's what we want to do.
No,
I don't think there's anything terribly
you,
tricky.
you took a look at them, everyone,
did.
you know, or the various people took, Rita did. So,
Okay.
you know, they've been gone through the initial look at.
I know, and how you keep those straight, I don't know. Yeah. If anybody asks me to report after this, what the worst thing about this is trying to keep those 4 minutes straight after all these meetings that we have. You're so good at it. Oh, all righty. The next thing on our agenda is to talk about just Justice Brett Busby, who is the suggestion that Lisa has put forward for our judicial candidate. But she doesn't seem to be here. I don't really know much more than what she's given us on her little piece of paper. But he looks like he's serving on the Supreme Court of Texas, which is kind of exciting. He's done all sorts of fun things. He's done some lesson plans for 7th graders in Texas. And he's Teach Texas co-chair of the Houston Bar Association Teach Texas Committee, which implements Taming Texas at a local level. I don't know what any of this stuff means. It would have been nice if Lisa had been here. But do we want to present this to the board at the meeting? We can.
Yeah.
To discuss, and maybe Lisa can talk about it at that point in time.
Noel, Steve is right here, and he worked with Brett. He was at the same firm for a while. Do you want him to say a few words about him? Just let y'all know
good.
more.
Wonderful. Yes, please, Steve, join us.
Sure. Brett is a former Bracewell partner. That would be the low point in his career, probably. He was an exceptional partner with us, very well regarded, an appellate practitioner. And then he served on the 14th Court of Appeals, which is one of the Houston Courts of Appeals for years. And then he was appointed by Governor Abbott to serve on the Texas Supreme Court in 2012. And then when it came time for him to be elected and re-elected, he has been extraordinarily well regarded as a very fair and unbiased judge, very well regarded, viewed as someone who has an extremely bright political future or judicial future. I'm getting there. Yeah, he is very friendly and engaging, humble and approachable, and and this is certainly true for me. He married above his worth. He married his delightful wife, Erin. Is a former United States Supreme Court Justice to Chief Justice Rehnquist.
Oh, wow.
She was a clerk.
Yes, she was the clerk, a judicial clerk after she graduated from law school. And so they're a delightful couple. He is an exceptional judge and a humble and genuinely good man.
Steve, I have a question though. Do you know anything about his activities as far as a law-related education to students? Because that's really what we're looking for. That's the crux of this award, is how they give back to legal law-related education.
I can look online while you're talking.
You can look while we're talking about other stuff and get back. He's got his iPad.
Okay.
Well, you do have that line that in the summary here that says he helped to create, apply, and teach a lesson plan for all 7th grade Texas students
Yeah.
to introduce them to Texas court system.
Right.
That's definitely student law related.
Yeah.
And then I don't know anything about this, co-chairs the Bar Association Texas Committee, which is Taming Texas at a local level. I'm assuming that is also student related.
Yeah.
I don't know anything other than what's written.
I would imagine so. It'd be nice to know a little more detail about what these things are.
Yeah. I
He is a
suggest
former
that
professor at UT Law School. I don't know if
Lisa
that's
here
what
to
we're looking
talk
at.
about who applied. Maybe we should move this forward. I mean, I'd like to know how many applicants we had and why this one was outstanding rather than since she's not here.
This was it. This was the only applicant.
Oh,
Well, they have to be recommended by, and I guess nobody recommended anybody else, I guess.
Yeah. So maybe it's something we did need to discuss with Lisa, and if we don't feel like he's qualified, not that he's not a wonderful jurist and person and lovely man, but what we're really looking for is somebody who's I mean, in the past, Steve, other judges have gone into the classrooms and talked to these kids and had mock trials in their courtrooms and really kind of bent over backwards for these children. And that's kind of the level of law-related education participation that we're looking for. And he may, I just don't know. We don't know the details.
She had written to me and asked me what I thought of the original thing that, you know, she was going to produce. And I had asked her to kind of, you know, give us more information, but it never
Yeah.
sort of happened. So I don't know, you know, because I could see where, you know, I presumed it was because of this, you know, court system thing in the seventh grade, but it wasn't really clear. And if you look at other people's, they listed all their
Exactly.
you know, out of you know, business kind of activities and that kind of thing. I told her that she needed to, you know, bump it up a bit.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, she's.
I think he may be a good candidate, but it's hard to tell from what.
Exactly.
originally.
Exactly. Well,
I
why don't we table this for now, and I'll reach out to Lisa and have her put together something to be presented at the board meeting,
Right.
and we can really chew on it a little bit and see what's there, and maybe she can give us some more detail. Does that
Yeah,
sound good to everybody?
right.
Yes,
Sounds
Right.
good.
Agree.
that's fair.
Other volunteer activities too, apart from,
Yeah.
you know, everything.
Yes, it's extracurricular stuff, right?
Exactly.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, over the last couple of months, we've had some suggestions for people that some people want our money. One of the things that Kitty mentioned is to present a donation in honor of Chuck Quigley, who was the late head of the Center for Civic Education, who recently passed away. And I thought that would be a nice thing to donate something on behalf of the American Lawyers Alliance. So what do you all think about that?
Well, we've never actually given any money to the Center for Civic Ed, and we have worked with them for several years. And as you know, Bob Lemming has been very active with us, and before that, Mark Molly, by sending letters and recommending teachers even. I mean, they've been very active in the Teacher of the Year. So we've never really donated any money to them. I guess we either didn't have any money or just didn't think of it. I don't know what the story was, but I thought he worked so hard for this cause, you know. I had this right up. Well, anyway, and it was very important to him to make sure that the children had a civics education. And I'm just going to give you a couple of little blurbs about what Civic Ed has done lately. If I had it in front of me, it would be so helpful. And I'm sorry, I put down some statistics here. The latest stats from the Center for Civic Ed. Only 30% of Americans born since 1980 rated essential to live in a democracy. 1 in 3 Americans say they might consider abolishing or limiting the Supreme Court. And 44% of Americans cannot name all 3 branches of government, which we all know is no surprise. But Chuck Quigley has worked for over 50 years to create informed and engaged citizens committed to democracy and the rule of law. His efforts and those of the organization he founded reached an estimated 42 million students and 440,000 educators around the world since 1965, including at least 30 million students in the United States. The Center family will continue this critical work for many generations to come. So I was thinking maybe it would be a nice tribute in his memory for ALA to make a contribution, but that is up to the board to decide.
I think
that
it's a,
we give donations.
And then I don't know how much either, so.
well, okay. Is it something the board needs to decide on, or is that something the executive committee needs to decide on, or the Carr committee?
It could be the Carr committee would decide that and present it to the executive, or is it the other way around?
And help us out here.
I don't think that the Carr committee needs to be involved. I mean, what are we talking about money-wise?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think,
That's something that the board has to decide.
yeah, I don't
I
think,
think the executive board can decide, and I'm not sure it needs to go any further than that. But
Okay, maybe we
yeah,
just
I don't think the Carr committee has anything to do with that. That's not
No.
our mission as the Carr
Okay.
committee. I think that's
Okay.
executive.
Okay, I just, you know, I didn't want to step on anybody's toes if they were the money
No,
handlers, Barbara. So I wanted to make sure that.
well, I mean, yeah, just that we have enough money to do this, but I presume
Well,
we do. So.
Yeah.
But we
we
need
do.
to come up with an amount too, so that we can present that, I suppose.
Well, let's talk about these other two things.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rita. What were you saying?
I propose $100.
Okay,
All right.
I like it.
That's a nice stipend. Another thing that we were going to discuss as far as donations, and I'm going to hold off on the mock trial thing, was our stipend to the NIOSA docent that's going to be showing us around.
Yeah.
And Rita, do you think $100 is sufficient for that?
Yes, I double checked with the woman who has been involved working with NIOSA, and she recommended $100.
Okay.
And it will be made out, and not to NIOSA, but needs to be made out to our Conservation Society, and it will be tax deductible because they are nonprofit.
Okay. I
And
will.
hopefully the first donation would be nonprofit. Wouldn't that also be a tax deductible,
I'm sorry.
Kitty?
Yeah, I'm sorry, what?
With it,
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
are
it's a
they also-
nonprofit. Yes, yes. Center
Okay.
Pacific is definitely nonprofit, yeah.
Well, since
501(c)(3).
since we're getting so close to the event on in San Antonio, and getting checks from Sharon is not the easiest thing in the world these days, with her being kind of out of pocket and the mail being so incredibly slow. I will go ahead and write a check personally and then get reimbursed. And
Okay.
we'll do that with a nice little card. Thank you card, says, thank you for all your help. If you will send me the exact name of what I need to make the check out to, just email it to me.
I
There,
would-
there are no tax implications because we're a nonprofit.
Right.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
So yeah, if you'll just shoot me the name of the entity of who the check needs to be made, I'll have that
I'll
ready. Okay, and then finally, the last thing, and we got this from one of our scholarship solicitation persons of this mass email that Kitty and I sent out. This fellow wrote me back and said that he is in charge of the National Mock Trial Championship in 2023 that's going to be held in Arkansas, and was wondering if we wanted to do a sponsorship. And I thought that would be a really cool thing to do to get our name out there. And he sent us this lovely brochure of how they spend their money and the different levels of sponsorship. And I think that they'll even, do some advertising with our name on it, and do all sorts of things. I really don't have all the details on that. I wanted to kind of run it by everybody first. But I think if we donated $1,000 to the National Mock Trial Championship, that would really get our name out there. So what do you guys think? Have y'all had a chance to look at this over?
I totally agree, because, I was pushing for the mock trial as one of the one of the
Yep.
recipients of
Yep.
that nice money that we were left. So I really think the mock trial is an important thing, and they spend whatever state puts it on spends an incredible amount of money. As you can tell, it's $200,000, and the students can't raise that on their own. They have to raise money, to just get in, and the travel expenses. Well, of course, it's been virtual, but I think it's virtual this year too, but hopefully by next year. But no, I agree that they need the money, and I think that if we have it, and it's certainly a legal law-related project, mock trial, and it's a wonderful thing for students in high school to get involved in.
Well,
So
and-
I believe in it.
Absolutely, and particularly with our Teacher of the Year out there, and our scholarship, we can promote that through both of those through this. And it looks like, and shame on me, I haven't read this quite thoroughly enough. I think we can sponsor a single event also. Does somebody want to take the laboring oar and follow up on this to find out exactly what we can get for bang for our buck for $1,000?
Paying for the.
I'm looking for a volunteer here. Somebody.
Well, if nobody else wants to do it, I can follow up. If somebody else wants to do it, I certainly will step aside.
Ooh, I hear crickets. I hear crickets. Kitty, would you just, I'll send you the fellow's email that he sent, and if you'll just touch base with him to see what sort of bang for the buck we get out of the 1,000. But
Okay.
I think that sounds like a lovely idea. Y'all think $1,000 sounds adequate?
Yes, and I'd like to see really the Teacher of the Year program highlighted in that, because I think we can reach some teachers that maybe haven't heard of us before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That and the
Yeah, we
scholarship.
we tried to reach out to the coaches of the mock trial teams and let them know about Teacher of the Year.
You know what we might be able to do, Kitty, is we might be able to get a list of emails.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be really cool. So maybe,
Okay.
maybe put that on your list to see
I'm
if we
gonna put
can
it on a list.
get a list of their distribution.
Because we had a list of each state, but not of each. Wasn't that the list we worked with?
We, you know,
There were so many lists, I know.
Kitty and I have compiled, and Barbara too, for that matter.
Barbara too, yeah.
We've compiled so many, and we probably have a ton more to go. I before this kicked in, when I had a little time, I literally had started going state by state, county by county for each mock trial coordinator.
And there must be a general, there's got to be a general.
There isn't. There is no mass database with this. So I think I was working on Tennessee, and I was like halfway down the counties. I had already had like 30 different emails, but it's out there. The information's there. It's just a matter of gathering it. So that's my personal next project after the midterm is over, and I'm going to try and solicit some folks to help me at the meeting to dig up these emails, because we've got a beautiful letter written, and it's, you know, it talks about the scholarship and directs them to the webpage, but we're getting under the wire because the deadline's going to be it's going to be May 31st. And you know, Barbara, it's kind of like what you deal with. You get all these applications in at the very last minute and you're just crushed. So hopefully we'll get some in and get the word out there. We actually had we've had one person apply. She didn't quite do it correctly, but we're working with her. She's I forget we're dealing with high school students. So anyway, so yes,
Not teachers, no.
Not teachers, no. And then finally, the last thing that I wanted to talk about was to expand our definition of qualifications to become an individual member. We have a bit of an issue, and it's not really, okay. We have a member, Barbara, and you know her, Devra, who does not really qualify under our current criteria to be a member, an active member. And Stephanie has reached out to her, and she has accepted a director position for next year.
Well, now she's a lifetime member. She paid the.
She doesn't qualify.
Why? She could be an advocate.
Yeah. But they have no voting rights at that point. You can't hold offices.
But she could be an advocate but not hold office. Is that it?
But the thing is, so I'm thinking maybe, and this might help boost our numbers a little bit, is that we get rid of the advocate member and add in some language to our membership part of the bylaws. And both the Houston Bar Association Auxiliary has some language, and the Austin one does. And I thought I'd read those to you and see what you all think about changing this to include non-lawyers' wives or lawyers or widows or whatever, however it's described in our bylaws. The Houston one says, in addition to those criteria, any individual who will adhere to the bylaws of the auxiliary in support of its objectives as defined in such and such is eligible for membership. That's what the Houston group says as far as including other people. The Austin Lawyers group says, who can be a member? Any individual who supports the purpose of the Austin Lawyers Auxiliary is eligible for membership. And both of them are pretty basic, but it opens the door for a whole lot more people to join and to hold office and to participate. So I'm suggesting, and we have to, there's some very specific ways we have to do this in order to amend the bylaws. Let me pull that up. God.
Oh, yeah.
It's tricky. Let's see. We have to, here we go. It has to be voted on at the annual meeting in June, and we have to have 2/3 of the board approve it.
Well,
It's
the
gotta
annual,
be-
the annual meeting is in August.
Right. But I wanted to throw this out here now to make sure this is something that we want to put up for a vote. What do you guys think? I mean, is that something we want to do? Is it something we want to not do?
I
I'd hate
think
to-
nobody realizes that advocates don't have a vote. I don't think I knew that. And I think we all assumed that they had a vote.
Yeah, well, I thought the honorary ones don't, and they do. So it's kind of a wonky situation. So I'm thinking either maybe we change it so advocates have a vote, but what makes that different from an individual member? Why not just make them an individual member then if they're going to have the same rights and responsibilities and pay the same amount?
I'm trying to find it.
The San Antonio Bar Auxiliary, we amended our bylaws about 5 years ago. And let me read to you how we allowed people that we knew were in some way should be wanted to be involved, but would include them. And our membership in our bylaws say membership shall be open to the spouse, parent, or member of the San Antonio Bar Association in good standing, and any past president of the auxiliary. And I want to give you one example of how that's worked out. We've only had 2 people that have qualified for under the parent or some related law activity. And our past president for the 2 years has been Dorothy Schultz, who has really worked hard and was a great president. And her husband is not an attorney, but her daughter is an attorney in the district attorney's office, and so she wanted to be a member and was a friend of a member. And in fact, it was another present member that proposed changes to allow her to be a part of the organization. And it's worked out very beneficial for us because she did serve 2 years as president. She's our past president.
So
Is it
basically
something
you
that
all
you
allow,
do along the lines of Deborah being the daughter of an ALA member?
well, the
Would that be
bylaws don't
special
address,
exception?
they don't address that. I mean, it's not addressed in there. And so that's why I'm saying something needs to change in order for her to effectively be able to hold the position that she's going to be holding. And I don't think it's a bad thing to change it. I mean, and you know, as far as like San Antonio, we could certainly expand it to not just say spouses, but a relative or immediate relative of an attorney, which would include mothers. And well, I mean, but Deborah's not, her mother was an attorney, she was a member.
She was an ALA member in California, and
So-
an ALA in California and ALA for us.
Right. But maybe we can expand it to put a legacy of a member, perhaps.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's something we probably need to talk about if we want to do this.
I think we do, but I don't think we've ever had an issue where it's come up that we've even had advocate members attend a meeting and vote or not vote.
I know, but they're not supposed to.
Oh, yeah, but nobody's ever tracked it.
I know. Sorry, guys. We were going to let this one slip by here. And I was like, no, this probably is, it's being a director, you probably should be an eligible member on the, you know, on the board. So
Is she going to be a director? Is that the issue?
yes,
Aha.
yes.
I
Stephanie.
didn't know where we were coming from. That's why I was a little confused.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
Stephanie reached out to me and told me, and I was like, well, Deborah's not a you know, an individual member. And
Here's another thought.
Huh.
Honorary, she's already paid her lifetime dues, but honorary gets to vote and they don't have to pay any more dues.
well, you know, the actually, hang on a second. Honorary was a little goofy also. Let me pull
It is goofy. I just read it.
You did,
Yeah.
and it's like they, if they're,
It says
if
honorary
they had,
member-
if they
honorary
had-
membership may be conferred upon any individual by a majority vote of the executive committee and shall be exempt from the payment of dues. And then down below, it says voting, all individual members, life members, honorary members who held individual memberships prior to becoming honorary members, local affiliate member organizations shall be entitled to 1 vote.
But they're honorary only, they could vote only if they were a prior individual member.
Right, right.
Well, she holds an
What if-
individual membership.
But she doesn't qualify for it.
What if we look at the definition of an advocate member and look at, keep that category without changing the whole membership list? I mean, those that are, how you can join. Maybe it's under advocacy that would be a better way to integrate maybe other people.
Well, that's true, but right now, advocacy, you can't vote and you can't hold office.
I'm saying, let's look at the definition of advocacy as
Right.
and maybe change that rather than the whole
Okay.
membership.
Well, that's a possibility also, but then what difference does it? I guess the only difference would be that you don't have to qualify under the membership rule.
Right. Have to
I think
be
I think you should cancel the advocacy membership. Everyone becomes individual. And we need as many people to help in this mission as possible. And I think we're just dancing around this. And we need to say, do we want non-lawyers, involved, non-lawyers, wives, whatever, involved in this or not? If our answer is yes, then get rid of the advocacy. They all become
Individuals.
regular, individual members.
Individual members.
And they are, able to vote, able to hold office, able to run a committee, whatever.
I agree with you, Anna. That's kind of where I'm coming from on that, because I think it's time for us to evolve. I mean, this was
You have to
started
change
in the
you have to
50s.
modify the definition of individual member. So that would be a bylaw change, 2 bylaw
Yes.
changes.
Yes,
Remove advocate and change the definition of individual member.
and then we'd have to wordsmith how we want to do that.
Exactly.
So,
And then present that in time to get it voted on in August.
so is this something we need to discuss with the board next week?
I think
Yes.
it needs to be presented before you can vote on it in August.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, no, it's got to be, you have to have 30 days notice to the membership. There's a whole bunch of rules to changing bylaws.
right. But I'm just trying to think procedurally what we need to do. Should we get the board on board on? Oh, look, there's Lisa.
Oh, connecting. Where'd she go?
Can we just propose that we eliminate the advocate category and you just be a plain member?
Right. But
Well,
we'd
that's
have
what
to
Ann was
amend
saying.
how the
You got to change the
definition.
definition of individual member then.
Yeah, because, you have to come up with something like
Yeah.
Does an active member pay dues?
Does an ex-member what?
So does the advocate member pay dues?
Yes, $25. The same as an individual.
The same amount, right? Okay.
Lisa, are you there? You're muted.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, yay. We
Lisa.
talked a little bit about Brett Busby, and we were hoping you could give us some more details.
Sorry, I couldn't hear what you were.
Well, we've been taught, we had gone over the agenda and just briefly discussed Justice Brett Busby, and actually Jennifer's husband used to work with him at Bracewell, and long story short, he was on the phone with Jennifer and told us some lovely things about him, but we don't really know enough about his law-related activity in detail to, and we'd like to know more. So I was hoping you could tell us some more.
Okay, he does a lot with the Houston bar when they read the Constitution every year. So he reads the Constitution every year to I think it's elementary and middle school kids. And then when they released that project, he went around and taught the children on that. The project from the Texas Supreme Court, there was a book that they created, and so he rolled it out in Houston. He might be doing it in Austin as well.
Okay. Anything else? I mean, we really need to get a lot of good stuff on him. And Morty, if we get a copy of the book, you know, can you just load us up on the details and give us some more good information?
I mean, he does, I don't know anything about, I mean, I saw the book online, but I haven't, should I bring a copy of it to
Yeah,
okay,
why don't you bring as much stuff, do a little more deep digging into him and give us put together maybe a little packet of with more detail of the things that he's done. I see you have a couple of pictures here. If there was any articles that were written about him, would be great. Anything,
okay.
guys, y'all have any more suggestions of what sort of stuff Lisa could put together on
Well,
Justice Busby that she could
any
present?
articles that
Things
have to
for
do
the-
with children and how he relates to them or what he's been teaching them, anything involved with law-related education that he's done outside of the courtroom.
Right, okay.
or
The
within
only thing that
courtroom.
I know is that he does the Constitution every September, and
Okay,
then
good.
the rollout of the book.
Okay, well,
Okay,
I think we need a little more teeth in this. Our prior winners have been very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Involved with law-related education in the schools. And I'd like for this justice to be on par with our past recipients. So I think we
he's
just
gone
need,
into the classroom at all or had anything to do with mock trial, judging?
No, he doesn't do any of those things. The only thing he does is just the rollout of the book and the Constitution. That's it.
Okay,
all right,
So
well,
he
let's,
doesn't do any mock trials or anything like that.
you know what might be helpful, Lisa, if you go on the website and look at our past judicial recipients and kind of get a feel for what they've done. There are whole bios on all of them, and you can see if who recommended him. Do you know?
Warren Harris.
Okay, maybe we reach out to Warren and maybe he can give you some more detail.
Okay.
That might be helpful.
he
Okay.
sounds good. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's a lovely man, and Steve just raved about him, how wonderful he was. But being a great jurist doesn't necessarily meet what we're looking for as far as our award. Our award is so education based that we really want to make sure that whoever receives it is qualified. If that
Okay, but the only thing is that I don't know if there's,
we're losing you, sweetie.
so I'm not sure. I can get what I can get, but I can't make him do something that he hasn't done.
No, I'm just hoping there might be something out there that we haven't captured.
Okay, I'll check with Warren and I'll see, but I don't know if I can find anything else, but I mean, he always helps out the HBAA, but he does a lot for the scholarships. When we raise money for the scholarship, he always participates, but none of that stuff is with the classroom.
Okay. Well, I mean, in creating educational materials is something, but let's see if we can puff this up a little bit before we
Okay.
make a final decision. Okay. All righty. So guys, let's see, let me kind of recap. We approved the minutes. We've had our judicial award. Lisa's going to get some more detail for us to chew on at the board meeting. We're going to donate $100 to the in Chuck Quigley's name. Yes. $1,000 to the National Mock Trial. $100 to NIOSA. Are we all on board with that?
Yep.
Kitty's going to follow up with the mock trial folks to see how we can best show off our stuff. And then we will discuss at the meeting eliminating the advocate membership and expanding our qualifications to allow non-lawyers, spouses, lawyers, or widows of lawyers, so we can increase our membership.
would that be a recommendation from the executive committee to the board, or how I'm not sure how that would go.
Ann?
And what do you think?
You're so smart, and you just need to tell us what to
No,
do.
but I'm just trying. We're talking just as far as the membership is concerned at the school,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I think we have to. I think we have to say that, you know, if we are in agreement that this is what we want to do, and you know, but
I'm not, do we have to take a vote today?
No,
Without-
I'm just wondering if we need to present it to the board at the meeting as a topic of conversation.
I don't think we should send forward an executive committee vote, because I'm not ready to vote on that. I
Okay.
mean, but I think it needs to be discussed. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of discussion that needs to take place.
All right. Well, let's do that. Let's vote to discuss it at the next board meeting.
Yeah,
the
and one thing,
at the
Noel,
next
that we
ge- at
probably
the
need
next
to
general
keep
board
in
meeting.
mind is
Yeah.
that we now have, I don't know how many teachers of the year we conferred honorary membership to, but
12.
probably 10 or 15.
I think it's 12, but that's,
Well,
yeah.
yeah. So we do have 12 new honorary members who are teachers, but they can't vote.
Right. But they don't have to pay dues either.
True.
I mean, if they want to be involved, yeah, if we change the bylaws to allow them, if they want to become an active member, they all have to do is pay their $25 and they're in. If they have time to be involved with us, they may
Right,
not have
right.
time. We're asking so much of them. So, all righty. Well, I think that's it for the executive meeting. Anybody else have anything to chew on a little bit? Are we good?
This is Steve Finish, if you can hear me.
Hi, Steve.
I am Jennifer's reluctant passenger. So I was just going to mention, first of all, obviously I had to do with Brett's nomination, but for Lisa, I was going to direct you, if you look at the Texas Bar Journal from June 2016, there is an article there that's got Brett Busby, Justice Busby, standing up in front of a classroom of students, and it's talking about his leadership on the Taming Texas Judicial Civics and Court History Project graders. And it's got him up in front teaching a 7th grade class with a PowerPoint presentation about the civics and court history.
Cool.
That's
Yeah, I
great.
think
Texas
I
Bar
have
Journal
that
from,
one. I have that one, and I have it in
Okay.
the little packet, but yes, you're right. Thank you. Because in that one, it has, I think Warren's in the picture too. Warren Harris is in the picture as well.
Okay.
And
Well,
it does explain all the stuff that they've done. So maybe I'll print all of that stuff out and bring that just as additional. Okay.
I mean, think about this, Lisa. When we present this award, we're going to have somebody up there, probably you, who are going to rattle off all his accomplishments in his law-related activities. So we want to have something substantial to talk about.
Okay. Okay.
All righty. So let's adjourn the executive and begin the-
Noel, can I just have a real quick question? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
That's okay.
For our committee reports, are we bringing copies to
No.
pass out, or you?
I'm making copies and putting folders together for everybody.
Oh, thank you.
So
Lovely. Thank you.
I'm gonna kill you with paper.
Can
But no,
An extra suitcase.
I ask one question of Rita?
Yes,
I could not hear the name of the person that you wanted to give. Is it $10 to or $100 to?
it's going to be $100 made out to the Conservation Society, which sponsors the Night of San Antonio, and all the funding, all the money that NIOSA makes
Okay.
goes to the Conservation Society.
Okay, so, okay. Thanks very much.
So it's not to the organization. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
all righty. Well, let's adjourn this one and begin the Carr committee meeting.
Yay. Okay. The Carr committee meeting to order. And it looks like everybody that should be here is already here. So, except for Sharon, of course. Okay. Look, I'm going to turn the meeting over to, first let's approve the minutes from the Carr Committee, which was August 11th, 2021. It was a Zoom meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Noel. Second,
I guess I can second.
second for the,
Who's
who was
that?
that?
Either Kitty or Barbara.
Kitty.
Okay.
Barbara. It's either one of us.
Okay.
They're interchangeable.
All in favor of approving the minutes, raise your hand.
Can you see it?
It's
Oh, yeah, we're
unanimous.
there. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you very much. I turn the meeting over to Barbara, who will report on our Morgan Stanley and BlackRock investments. Barbara?
Yeah, since Sharon's not here, I'll just give an overcap. This is the chart that I think Noel's going to put in the packet for the meeting next week. Just did a recap of our investments and where they've been. And I think it was in maybe 17 or 18 or 19, we went to BlackRock. And you see there it has grown. Now we put in 100 and then we put in another 25. So 125 is our basis and we're up to 146. I wanted you to see the difference in the stock price from when we first bought BlackRock. It was 392 a share. And now as of, I didn't pull it up today, but as of yesterday or the day before, it was 779. So we've hit highs and we've hit lows, but we've consistently been high. And what I think is interesting about it is this is just a chart showing our investments and how they've stayed pretty stable, which I think is amazing because we have expenses. We give out toy awards. We give out the auxiliary support awards. We have expenses that we incur when we have our meetings. Now we haven't had any live meetings for a while, but as you look across the top, we've stayed pretty much above 500,000 since 2015. And I think that's because we've put part of our money into a more aggressive portfolio that's going to give us a better return and keep us level. So I'm real pleased with the way it's going. I think we're doing great. I don't have the details on what Sharon has on her report and what we've expended, but I'm not worried about that. I have access to the Morgan Stanley website as well. So that's where I pulled all this information from. So like I said, the report isn't very long and there's nothing really to be mad about. There's nothing we have to worry about.
It looks lovely.
It's doing great. I remember when we used to sit around and have meetings that would go for an hour and talk about, this is before we moved to Morgan Stanley.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm real glad that our meetings don't have to go that long anymore. Does anybody have any
Yes.
questions about the Morgan Stanley account?
So
I say
basically,
bravo,
we made
bravo.
$4,000 on over from 2021. Is that the difference?
I'm sorry, what?
About-
I couldn't
I
hear.
was looking at the difference between 21 and 22. So basically, it's about right at almost $4,000 increase. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
those are January 1 numbers.
Okay.
So yeah, and that's because BlackRock has done real well. Our other, the core of our Carr investments are in treasury bonds and in very safe blue chip stocks, things that are not going to be in danger of eroding on us. So where we get a real swing high would be like that 502 up to 506. But you also see that we go down back in 2018 and 2019 when the market went down. So I think we're doing well. I'm going to get with Jennifer at Morgan Stanley and ask her for a couple of bullets about Morgan Stanley itself. She gave us some for the meeting last year about the number of assets, the amount of the assets that they control, and just a couple of little blurbs that I can add to this for the meeting next week.
Awesome. Sounds
What was
good.
the dividend has paid for the year? Do you know?
I don't know. Let me look and don't have that. I will go look that up and make sure. It's hard to tell because BlackRock is one thing and then the others are totally different. So I'll see if I can find the dividend amount.
Do we have the dividends reinvested into the stock? Or do we
Sorry?
take cash?
Question?
Are the dividends reinvested?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they are. Yes, I think they're signed up for drip, so I'm almost positive, but I will double check on that. Thank you.
And the BlackRock investments, I remember last year you kind of gave us a breakdown, or 2 years ago, of what they invest in. How often does that change as far as modifying the portfolio?
It changes annually. I did a chart. I was working on this a week or two ago and comparing some of the ones that they had added to their portfolio
Uh-huh.
with what they'd done before. And every year they're about, I don't know, 5 or 6 that they drop and 5 or 6
Interesting.
new ones that they add. I'll pull together a chart on that, Noel, so you can plug it into the report for next week.
Okay, that would be great. Maybe they got some nice oil and gas stocks. Those are going way high right now.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay,
All
I'll
right.
look up dividends. I'll look up where they're invested now.
Sounds good. All righty. Anybody have anything else?
Yes, I do. I was not aware that ALA, neither did Noel. When did we get a credit card? Who is allowed to use the credit card? Does it have restrictions on what it can be used for? We did not know, as past presidents and president, that we had a credit card.
I think Sharon has
anyone
to use that.
How long we've had one? Who's in charge of it? Who has the numbers? What is the procedure to use it? Does anybody have that information?
Sharon.
And I never saw it when I knew it existed, but I didn't really have to charge anything, you know.
I think Sharon has to do it to confirm things on our events when we have in-person meetings. I think also, I may be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that Janet also had it because she arranged some of the outings and she had to book tickets ahead of time. And I think
Lucy actually has the physical credit card right now, since she had took over for Janet. And when she, had her little stroke and turned everything over to Joette, she gave Joette the credit card number. And I have a copy of it somewhere, but it's not, I'm at the farm right now and it's at my house. But it's basically used for deposits on events. And I know they paid for the hotel room, the meeting room yesterday with the credit card. And obviously they're going to pay for the parade tickets for Rita's friend with that credit card. So I don't know what the limit is. I don't know if there's any restrictions or who has signature authority on it, but I do know, obviously Lucy is able to use it. And I assume that Joette is also, since they have the number. They don't really seem to be checking who's got signature authority.
Give us a report on the credit card. I don't think we have enough understanding of who's using it, who has it, who has the numbers. Somehow or another should be a part of the president's information about whose authority does it require to use. And I don't know anything about it, which I think is weird.
I at one point I was emailing, and getting hold of Sharon these days is a little tricky because she's so out of pocket.
Yes.
But I did ask her at one point if I was supposed to have some sort of signature authority on the accounts, and she said yes, but the bank would require me to fly up to Pascatana or wherever she's from, Ohio, to sign in person. So over the last couple of years, she hasn't done that. So
I just think we need more information about a credit card that's out there that the presidents don't know anything about or have heard of it, but don't know who has it.
I think that would be a nice addition to Sharon's report, which I have not received yet. So I will rattle her cage and ask her to include the expenses that have been put on the credit card lately, over the past year.
Events and things have to put up deposits, and I understand that would be necessary for functioning as an organization that travels, but I just think there's not enough information out there to understand that we even have one.
Well, it would be nice to have some checks and balances also. If somebody's got a credit card out there and nobody knows who's charging what. So I agree.
I think also for the dinners, that when we have group dinners, we've already paid, then she pays the restaurant and then tallies up and charges us back if we owe anything. So I know it's used for that as well.
Yeah, and I believe the credit card has been used on the caterer Wednesday night. Think he has been paid. We gave him a final head count. And
Now, I can add to being on the checking account and things like that. When I did insist, because it hadn't been changed in a couple of years and it wasn't really relevant. She, of course, still was the treasurer. But what I did was just make a copy of my driver's license, and that was enough to, and I sent it to her and she gave it to the bank so they could see that I existed, so to speak. And everything, and they took that, and I think that has to be done every year. You know, you need to be up to date with, you know, signatures on checking accounts, and the president has one, and she has, you know, authority. So that needs to happen every year, I believe. You know, to
Okay.
be.
We just
Yeah.
need to put the procedures in place for that.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure there are, but they just haven't sort of kept up with you know, it's been confusing anyway, this with everything.
And there's nothing in the bylaws on that. I just checked.
Oh, okay. But I mean, on the other hand, you know, it was like 2 years old. So whoever was president 2 years before I still was on the signature power of the checking account and savings or whatever other accounts there are.
I don't know who else is on the account. I guess the last president to have signed off on that. I don't know if it was Joette. Let's see. Me, Rita, and then who was before you? Rita, Jackie? Jackie, and then before that was Joette. I don't know if any of them had signature authority or not.
Well, it should, you know, I think technically it's the president and the treasurer who are on the signature.
As it probably should be.
Yes, right.
Buck stops here, so to speak.
But that's how they did it. And they approved, the bank approved my just sending a copy of my driver's license.
I think that may have changed. I think they want people in person to do it now, which kind of is.
It's all that security stuff. Yeah.
So in that case, maybe it's something we don't pursue. I don't know. But let me at least have the credit card situation addressed with Sharon and ask her. I'll find out who the last president to have signature authority is. I mean, I don't know. So
It may be me.
it may be. Who knew?
Yay, I can go on vacation.
Oh, Lordy. All right, guys. Let me run something by y'all before I leave. And this is just my own exasperation. Jackie, bless her heart, has volunteered her daughter Adrian to bartend and take pictures at this mid-year meeting. And the Women's Club is requiring a TABC license or permit or certification that she is qualified to do this. And I have been begging, and Joa has been begging Jackie to get us that information. They need a copy of it. And it's radio silence. I cannot get hold of Jackie. She won't return calls. She won't return emails. We have not gotten this information from Adrian. Y'all have any suggestions on what to do and how to get?
Can you go to Adrian directly?
Well, I don't have her number. We've asked Jackie for it. It's frustrating. And look, you know, I'm not going to have our Mexican dinner on Wednesday night without margaritas. That's just not going to happen.
Good point.
Well, and they have to have a licensed person in attendance or they're legally in trouble.
Exactly. And I can get a bartender over there, but we're going to have to pay her, you know, we're
Would
getting on
Adrian
really.
be licensed? Is a one-shot license kind of thing for her?
I don't know what she's got, some sort of maybe she may have her certification, TABC certification. I don't think she's a licensed bartender, but if she's got her certification, that should suffice. Well, what the certification does is says, okay, you've been through the training to recognize when somebody's had too much to drink and you cut off. Is basically what it is.
I have a phone number here for Adrian.
Do you?
I do, because she did something for us at some other meeting.
Okay.
I don't know how accurate it is. I can give it to you.
Okay.
It's 469
Uh-huh.
579
Uh-huh.
5627.
627. I will pass that along to Joette because
And then
Joette
I
is
also
the-
have another phone number with a different area code, so that's why I don't know how accurate any of this is.
Okay.
You want that one?
Yep.
214
Uh-huh.
493 0691.
Okay.
And her
Thank you,
email is
Jen.
adrian.poliski@marriott.com. Can I spell all that?
Yeah, let's see, Adrian.Poluski, Puliski,
POLISKY
SKY at Marriott, huh?
.com.
I don't know if she's working for Marriott anymore.
Well, there you go. This is old probably, so,
Okay, well, the phone numbers will help. I mean,
okay.
if nothing else, we could probably text her and get her attention.
Okay.
All right, guys, thank you. It's been lovely. We will see you Wednesday, hopefully with margaritas in hand and wonderful, wonderful food. I can't wait to see the Women's Club there.
Oh, yeah.
Rita, have you ever been to the one in Austin? The Women's Club?
I haven't.
Well, next time you come,
No.
let us know. We'll take you to lunch there.
I'd love to. You're
It's-
on that.
It's a beautiful mansion downtown and
Yeah.
same principle, but it's really neat.
Absolutely.
All right, and we will see you Thursday morning. We'll
Yeah.
be thinking about you. Okay, Jennifer, you get well, okay? I know.
She's gone.
I see her name there. She's gone.
Yeah.
All righty, everybody, take care.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Take care.
Miss you.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
And I'll send you the recording.
great. Thank you. I think I'm gonna need it. Okay.
Hey, Barbara, before we go, did you see that thing Margaret sent?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to open it up yet.
It's pretty, she did a really good job.
That's amazing. I'm just
Yeah.
so pleased.
It's 96 pages. This is the packet that Margaret Settle put together on the Teacher of the Year. She combined, made a huge PDF booklet with all the resumes and letters and things like that. And she created a spreadsheet, score sheet that they can fill in all their numbers and it's automatically calculated. She did a really good job. So yay. Anyway, have fun with that and maybe hopefully it'll work.
Sounds good.
All righty, y'all take care. See you
Okay,
Wednesday.
thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.